Another major reason that we run into on a regular basis with our clients, why they're stuck and they're not getting the momentum that they want or making the progress that they want, is fear. And it shows up in all kinds of ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it shows up everywhere. It shows up everywhere. Fear in and of itself is not a bad thing.
Right.
It keeps us alive.
Which is good.
Which is good. You don't get much of what you want unless you're still, in the game here. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we need to understand it more. So fear it's a message. It's a message that what's going on around us might cause harm, that it might introduce danger. And so we should treat this a little bit differently. And there's a whole physiological response. We can go through the whole evolution of it. If you want to send me an email later, I'm happy to do that. But at the heart of it's a message. Here's the thing. Most people confuse the message with an answer. So the message is, this is dangerous. They read it as the answer saying, don't do it. All it is a message, and it's up to us to start to decide how do I want to respond to that message. So, fear, it exists in every living organism. It's the way we survive over time, and it really is linked to uncertainty in a lot of ways. So, you say, look at it from an evolutionary perspective, out on the savannah, saber-toothed tiger pops up, and you go, that doesn't quite look familiar to me. How am I going to engage in it? We learned very quickly that things not familiar tend to eat us or destroy us, and so, over time, there was mortal danger. I was at risk. This is true danger. My life could be on the line. The challenge is we now live in an environment where the mortal danger, the actual danger, really doesn't exist very often. And yet, we respond as if it does. So when we encounter things that are unfamiliar or unknown, we have a response that's absolutely out of whack with the reality of what's going on. But we still have the sensation. So the message shows up. The challenge to leaders is start to say, when the message shows up and you have that feeling of fear, first check and say, is it actual danger?
Right.
Second is to say, what am I going to do in spite of my fear? Fear doesn't mean just because you experience it that the messages stop everything. It's look carefully. Look carefully, then decide what you're going to do. Sometimes maybe it's dangerous. You need to stop.
Right.
Very seldom. Most of the time it's we need to start to marshal our own energy to work in spite of that fear, to say, for a lot of people, success is unfamiliar for them.
Right.
And so it becomes scary. It introduces fear. If we're not prepared to move through that fear, how will we ever get the success that we're looking for?
Right. Most people have a dream. Most people believe that they're meant for more, and yet they allow fear to lock them into a prison of mediocrity where their whole life is about playing it safe and waiting for the right circumstances to show up. Stop waiting, start acting, let the fear that you feel right now fuel your efforts as opposed to restrict them.